Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's going to be a quick video. God, it's hard to try and find the space to do the video at the moment. I'm still here in America for a little bit longer and like another week, and oh man, I set things up and someone comes in. It's hard when you've got people around you all the time. But I wanted to really share this message, so I've really made a huge effort to try and move spaces, and I don't have any of my equipment with me, so sorry if it just isn't lined up right. But the most important thing is the message of what I've been going through the last few days, but also a couple of months, that I really wanted to share with you, in case you're going through the same thing. And it's really, really important at the moment with these energies. I hope you can hear me. I can't talk really loud because there's people all around. So what I wanted to say is, though, and this is a personal share as well, and to help those that are going through this. So these last 2 months that I have been in the United States, I have been, some of you already know, I'm here staying with my daughter at the moment before I go back to Australia. I hadn't seen her for nearly 3 years. I spoke all about that in the last video, or the one before that, I'm not sure. But what I wanted to say is that this has been an extremely intense but beautiful growth period and time for both of us. And what I wanted to share is, in these times, it's about letting go of anything that still might be intertwined, i.e. or an obstruction to the path or to part of your path. So because my daughter and I have been close, I was a single divorced mother from the time she was 8. So my priority as a mother, I felt, was to put to safeguard her, protect her, and put as much into her as possible in her life. And so she did see her father as well, but she was living with me full time, and so we did create that bond. And the mother and daughter also crossed over to like friendship, and there was a line there. But once you become so close, like a friend as well, mother and daughter, as you get older, as they get older, as an adult, sometimes it's hard to break patterns and cycles of codependency. And then even when you've broken those, you still feel that you're intertwined, your energy is intertwined a lot in your life. She's grown up, obviously, being close to me and having me as her protector, safety blanket, all of that. And I've also become really invested in her and her path. She's on a spiritual path as well, and has been for many years, like me. So she lives here, works here, this is her career and her business here, and she knows this is her ultimate soul path. That's why she's here, and that's why she took this path. So for me, I've tried to help her, at the same time knowing that we had separate soul paths, okay, soul missions, but knowing that not just because we're mother and daughter, but because of our path as well, they overlap with certain things and certain projects and things like that. I am writing, I'm a writer as well, so I write conscious creations, I write movies, and so writing screenplays and TV shows and things like that, that are also part of my path, embedding light codes, activations, and bringing conscious content through those projects, right? So we both have our separate paths, and then we both cross over. But what's happened is, in this last few months, is that we've had to really untangle more and more and more of our path, because it was distracting somewhat and derailing somewhat part of our paths. And so this is what we've been doing over the last few months, and I did not realize, and this is why I want to share this message, because you might have something like this going on in your life with your parents, or your siblings, or best friend, best mate, whatever it is, close family member, anyone, right? Partner even. You might have something going on like this, and you're doing certain things on your path, so you feel, yep, I feel aligned with that, but then there's always this other bit. And when someone is in your energy a lot like that, it is very distracting to your path, and that's for both of us. So we've both been distracting each other's paths, and there is that energy there when it's not really people pleasing, I guess it could come under the banner, but when you've had that bond and that tie together, you've done things together, you have that connection, I guess, in that way, as the mother and daughter and all of that, you sometimes it overlaps, right, into your life. And we all still have to realize and make sure we're living our independent soul path lives, right? For us, for those of you that are aware of, that are listening to this and aware of past lives, etc., we also have had many past lives together, tons, where our mother and daughter role was reversed, where she was the mother, I was the daughter. We've also had it where we're sisters, aunt and niece, all of that, like all the different combinations. And so in a lot of ways, there's been a lot of those energies and karmic energies from those lives come back in that we had to transmute that energy in this life as well. But what's happened is it's sort of overlapped a little bit, and we're feeling those energies, and so that's why it's become so close knit in this life as well. So now people might say, well, it's normal, right, for parents to be close to their children, yeah, and mother and son or mother and daughter, but there has to be that line where that child, your child, and the mother live their separate lives and go and do their path. And then when you also have, as I said, something crossing over, still you've really got to set those boundaries. So we've been going through this and realizing, and for me, I think she'd already let go of a lot, but for me, being on the other side of the world, being just on the phone to her and not actually having seen her physically for nearly 3 years, I think coming here was necessary because I had to really break more ties, untangle, that's the word, untangle the intertwining of the energies, and really step forward more than I could step forward more on my path. So taking back, because when we do that, we're also taking back control of every part of our path, and we're taking back our power in those areas that when you're intertwined with somebody else, you're kind of giving your power away. So there's no right or wrong or blames here on anybody else. It's just it's the fact of what we see and can happen when people are really close to, where we're really close to people and connected to people. And what happens is, so you can get derailed because you can be doing something on your own and then you're like, oh, let's do this together. Okay, that sounds good. And then that takes 6 months of your life, and that's, or just the fact that energetically, and what I've found is being connected to my divine masculine, energetically I've found that it's been too much of a distraction in our energy for me being so connected to my daughter, and it's not allowing the space for us, but also the space for me to be able to, although we talk in the high frequency a lot, it shuts me down in a lot of areas. I won't get into that, it's kind of probably another video, but it shuts me down in a lot of areas where I am not always present in our energy, because I'm not present in my energy. Okay, so we know there's a lot of people walking around like this out there, but we are here. When you're here for this path, for this role as a divine feminine, divine masculine, or just if you don't have those roles, but you're here as a starseed light worker, or ground crew, to bring in new earth in some way, whatever you feel your role is, to anchor in the new high divine frequencies of new earth into the planet. If this is your role here and part of your role, then you have to be really careful where your energy goes and where you might be intertwining it with others, and being distracted. And the intense energies at the moment are really shining the light on this for everybody. So in whatever way it might show up in a situation, for me it's shown up as my daughter and myself and our connection. For you it might be something else, but it's the same energy. And if anything is taking you out of that present energy, taking you out of the space that you need to create for you and your divine partner, your divine role, anything like that, you know, basically stepping into your power, ever present in your power, of your sacred journey, and anything that is a distraction to that, the light's being shone on it more, and we are being asked and called to step forward and untwine that, you know, untangle that, and whatever way that's possible for you that the light's shining it. Now, it can be hard. Look, I've had days where I've had some heartbreaks and tears and all of that, because it is releasing a lot physically. You know, I'm releasing, and have been for a few years, the feelings of the past lives. I'm so empathic, and I feel into my past lives so easily that I can feel the connections we've had. And although I don't focus on that, it's just in our energy that it's like in a past life, for instance, there was a time where I had we'd parted. I was the daughter, and I was the mother, and I'd lost her somehow, or someone had taken her. It was a whole thing that I had to release a few years ago. I don't want to go into the story, is basically why I'm saying it like that. I know what happened, but I don't want to go into the story. So, and because it's a whole other story. But when we feel that in the energy, I already as a mother am feeling in to what had happened in a past life. So we have to clear that and release that, so that it helps us in this life to let go as well, and not be as intertwined from a fear, from a need, from a codependency, you know, whatever, all of those and more. And that's when the fear creeps in, you know, there's times, because she lives in another country, and particularly this one, so much goes on, where if I don't hear from her, so I used to be, if I hadn't heard from her in 6 or 7 hours, unless she was sleeping, I'd be like, oh my God, is she okay? You know, and I had to really, over the last few years, work through that, because I couldn't be ever present in my day and my life, always worrying about that. And at the end of the day, I had to realize that she chose her life, she chose to be here, and this is her path, and 100% she'd moved into her path and moved across the other side of the world to be able to do that, right? And play that and be in that role that she chose, and she knew 100%, 1,000,000% that's her role. And she puts all of that before anything else. And I realized, actually, she's doing that and I'm not doing that, because I'm still, as a mother, really, you know, that mother concern and all of that sort of stuff. So in the last few months, I needed to be here. We needed to go through a lot of stuff together, which we've done. It was not easy at all, but it's never easy when you need to pull out those things and let go and release. But where we've got to, pardon me now, where we've got to is knowing and seeing what the work that needed to be done, you know, what needed to change for both of us, because we were both obviously blocks to each other, each other's path. And even though she was moving forward on her path and things were starting to go well for her, things weren't really going well for me. And I'm like, well, you know, obviously I'm not blocking her path anymore, and but we just had to work on things. And it was because she had chosen to put herself first energetically, and yet I still wasn't really choosing 100% to put me, my path and my energy first 100%. Okay, so, and obviously that is a lot to do with the mother-daughter relationship as well, because a mother's instinct and just a mother's letting go and all of that sort of stuff. So I wanted to share that, because it's really important when we don't see this. when we move through a phase and we heal and grow and we collapse a timeline, we then can see in other people, we can look back and see, oh, that's where I was, and I can see that's happening in your life. And I was seeing it was happening in our life, so I knew that we were working through it. But I do see it in other people as well that are very powerful on this path, that really need to step also into their divine light more, of choosing them and their path more. But they have children or others and around them that can be distracting. And I think it's, well, I don't think I know that this is the time that us light workers that have really come for energetically for the pairs to be together and ripple that incredible powerful light out, that higher frequency. It's our time to really step into that now and create that space. So whatever you need to do internally, sorry about that, whatever you need to do internally, right, to be able to let go of things to create that space. And it doesn't mean you stop having people in your life. Like, obviously your kids are always going to be there, but it's about choosing yourself first and having boundaries, okay? Not being on the phone to each other so many times a day, or not being like dropping everything to be there. Like, it's about really having the boundaries. And you might find you've got that in your external world with everything else, but you need to ask yourself, those people closest to you, are you still trying to people please? Are you intertwined with energies? Are you still trying to please your parents in some way, or going down a path to please them? Or are you staying in a relationship where it's a distraction to you and it's fragmenting your energy and it's not the right one, right? So you're there for other reasons, because all of those, anyone that's in your energetic space is always going to be derailing you if it's not aligned, okay? And some people are in each other's space to help them grow and evolve and shine the mirror on things. But when you have that awareness, it's time, and you're feeling that and you know that in yourself, and you know that's time's up, it's time to make action and move towards that. Like I did. Look, it would be easy, I guess, for me to just go along, like, and follow her path, but that's not my path. You know what I mean? What I mean is, it would probably be less heartbreaking and stuff, but at the other side of it is, it's heartbreaking to me if I'm not following my path and creating that space for our divine energy. Do you know what I mean? So we have to remember the bigger picture of why we are here, no matter what's going on in our 3D personal space. We have to, as maybe hard as this may sound or seem, we have to put ourselves and our path first, our connection, our energy. We have to put that first as the priority, and then anything else after that. Because when you do that and you step into that, then that person will do the same. So, for instance, now that I've discovered more and let go more and pull back with our and untangling, then it'll open her world up a lot more, as well as mine, and it'll open her world up a lot more to fly more, in her path, and me as well. And abundance will come in more, there'll be more joy, happiness, everything, everything will flow better, more peace, not as many, obstacles and hurdles and issues and and it's because we're in that higher timeline, right? And we're being guided by our soul. So there's always things we have to let go of, and the energies are always shining the light on those things. And I just wanted to share that with you today. It ended up a long video. It's like nearly 20 minutes, but these things are really important to look at, and this is the hard stuff that you need to, if it's being, the light's being shone on it, we need to untangle our energy. So you could kind of say, maybe I'll call this video that, about untangling your energy. It's kind of a good topic. Yeah, good title. So all right, I think that's all I wanted to share in that. This might also, I'm hearing, it's going to give people a bit of a enlighten people a little bit on where they weren't seeing it in their life, and they're going to go, oh wow, I can see that with this person, that I'm doing that with this person. So it's going to bring awareness to people, and it's going to sort of, I guess that's what I'm doing here, shining light on that for you. Okay, so I'm just thinking, I just feel like before I tune off that there's something else that's coming through. I'm just hearing that it's very imperative at this time that people look at what I'm getting is there's people and parts of their lives that they're not connecting the dots with, that they're intertwined with, and that's affecting them, and they're not even looking at it, they're not even like thinking that's an issue, they're oblivious to it. So it might take a little bit more deeper investigation into who's in your world, who's showing up, what's going on, how you're interacting with someone who could be even somebody I'm feeling that you don't think you have as deep a connection to, or as big a connection, or whatever, that is kind of messing with your energy is what I'm receiving. So it just could be like a more distant friend or something, but it's somebody that you don't feel that you're intertwined with a lot because you've like pulled back your energy or something, or you're not as connected is what I'm hearing. But in fact you are, and this person is kind of messing with your energy a lot. So that just came through. That might be a message for somebody. So what I'm getting is sort of look far and wide is what I'm receiving. And it could be right under your nose as well that you don't know. So there you go. And it's 22, it was 22 minutes and 11 seconds when I looked on the timestamp. So that's obviously very accurate. So yeah, so just if that's you, if that resonates and you feel there could be something there, look for that. Yeah, far and wide, or it could be under your nose is what I was hearing. Okay guys, I'm gonna go and get some lunch now. Take care. Namaste.